everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the NFL Seekers podcast. Today, we're going to be doing a full 7-round mock draft for each AFC East team, continuing our series, doing a full 7-round mock draft for each team, each division. It's been really fun. We're going to do the AFC East today because some big news happened. Stefon Diggs got traded to the Texans, so we figured we'd start it out drafting for the Bills, seeing if we can replace Stefon Diggs. It should be really fun. It's been a good day for me over here. Chelsea won in an electric fashion, so it's been a good day. How are you?
Hey, congrats, Dan. Let's go Chelsea. Let's go
I'll
Chelsea.
take what I can get at this time of the year, man.
Yes, sir. You know what? If we're just talking about how our days went, I mean, last 2 days have been pretty nice, I guess. It felt like spring, but apparently we're supposed to have snow tomorrow. So yeah. Try making that
Utah.
up for a second. Yeah. But yeah, it's been like 70 degrees here and fantastic. So I mean, on that note, I'm doing great. But yeah, Stephon Diggs, Mr. Drama Queen himself, now pushes himself out of Buffalo. And I think it was a mutual good trade. I think it was time for the Bills to get off of Stephon Diggs. He didn't want to be there. He was a problem for the locker room. He was a drama queen. And so, you take what you can get, and you end up getting a second round pick next year. You do give a fifth and a sixth away, whatever. I'm sure that second round pick, could be a pretty good receiver next year if you wanted to do that. But yeah, Stephon Diggs is 30 years old. His game seems to be going pretty good. I mean, he kind of had a drop off at the end of last season, but yeah, he forces himself away. He goes to the Texans, which he should be thanking the Bills for letting him go to the Texans and gets to play with CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell. So the Texans out here looking extremely scary. Meanwhile, the Bills look like they're trying to do a competitive rebuild. They took on $31 million of dead cap from Stefon Diggs. They're kind of in cap hell, but it was an essential move that needed to be done.
Needed to be done. Get that cancer out of the locker room. I absolutely love the move for the Bills. I've been honestly like clamoring for Diggs to be traded all offseason, and I really was starting to think it wouldn't happen. And it came out of nowhere. Really happy it did for both teams. Like you said, I guess just starting with the Texans, it's a good acquisition. You have damn near 3 number one wide receivers. It's going to be pretty fun. Everyone snags CJ Stroud in Dynasty, Fantasy, any format because he's going to be just insanely productive. He's going to be so fun. On the Bills end, though, like, I mean, like you said, Diggs really dropped off last year. He lost a step, to say the least. Like, he was not the same as a deep threat for sure. He was kind of just like that intermediate guy that he's really reliable, like in the intermediate game, but that's it. And they have Shakir, Kincaid, James Cook. That's what they all literally are. That's what they're
Curtis
featured in.
Samuel,
Yeah, the Curtis
the
Samuel, that's
underneath.
their
Yeah.
role. So they had no need for Stephon Diggs. So it really was underratedly just a beautiful move, getting Diggs out of the locker room, out of the team at this time of his career. It just wasn't a good fit. And I'm pretty confident they can upgrade.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, with that being said, we want to transition right into the Buffalo Bills for their 7 round mock draft. And we pretty much come to the conclusion that they do need to trade up. They need to force their way up, into the top half of the draft to get one of these elite 4 or 5 receivers. And right here we have the Seahawks trading number 16. Which it seems like the Seahawks are kind of in on interior offensive line really in the first round, and moving down and collecting more draft capital seems like the smartest move. So, I mean, if you want to go ahead, Dan, and send 28 to the Seahawks and vice versa, and let's get rolling.
Yeah, just looking at all the teams, in that pick 13 to 20 range where Brian Thomas will probably go, the Seahawks do make a lot of sense because they're maybe eyeing like a Jackson Powers Johnson, and he could, because of positional value, fall a little bit. So I do think the Seahawks make sense. We're gonna offer up pick 28, pick 160 in next year's second round pick. So honestly, I feel like that's a pretty dang good deal though to go up and get. Hopefully, Brian Thomas is on the board because if you can pair Brian Thomas with Josh Allen, it is just incredibly electric. He's one of the better deep threat prospects that I've seen. He's got that crazy size speed ratio. He's got that Calvin Johnson Megatron build. You talk about Brian Thomas to the Bills while I make this happen.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Brian Thomas to the Bills just feels like a match made in heaven. just think about Josh Allen and his cannon of an arm, and Brian Thomas at 6'4", running a 4.34. Josh Allen is just gonna lay up the ball to him. And a funny little side story, as Danny sent me earlier this morning. We had Malik Neighbors on a live stream on Instagram, and he goes, "Huh, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is going to the Bills." And it makes too much sense. It's a perfect fit. The Bills need to be aggressive. They need to move up. They need to get their wide receiver one of the future for Josh Allen, and Brian Thomas Jr. would just be the perfect fit, and a guy that's just really shot up the draft boards.
Yeah, he had a great season alongside neighbors with the Heisman winner Jaden Daniels, and he honestly just has all the upside in the world. I was starting to think after he lit up the combine, he could go in the top 10. We haven't really been hearing any of that. We haven't really been seeing that. So I think this is more of his range. But if you can trade up, get Brian Thomas to replace Stefon Diggs, you pair him up with Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir, Matt Collins, KJ Hamler, Dalton Kincaid, who's one of the better receiving tight ends. I'm excited about that. I would take Brian Thomas over Stefon Diggs straight up in 2024, straight up. I just love the upgrade, truly. So I think Brian Thomas with Josh Allen kind of doesn't need to be explained. The sky is really the limit. You want to move on?
Yeah, well, I just really, really like the Josh Allen, Brian Thomas, Curtis Samuel, Mac Hollins. I feel like it's really not that bad. And you just need that alpha wide receiver one, and that's what Brian Thomas brings immediately to the Bills.
One for one replacement, Brian Thomas in for Stephon Diggs. Absolutely love that move going up and getting him. And moving into round two, I think defensive line's definitely a good place to look. You got Von Miller taking up a lot of money with absolutely zero production. Defensive interior could be nice as well. Pair someone with Ed Oliver. I'm kind of thinking defensive line. Braden Fisk is on the board. He would be really nice. Let's look at the top edges. Braylon Trice feels like he could definitely be a Bill. I think I'm just down to Braylon Trice or Fisk because either one would be fun.
Yeah, either one would be fun. Like you said, you got an aging Von Miller. I think you can honestly, if you want to go upgrade over Daquan Jones, Austin Johnson's your second string. So you're not super deep like you always have been. And Braylon Trice kind of gives you that inside outside flexibility. So I really like the pairing there. And a guy that's falling down draft boards who's essentially a first round lock a couple months ago. But I mean, as you see the grades, they are all except one in the elite category. But a guy with position flexibility, like I said, he can play the two technique, three technique, inside, outside, and was ultra productive at Washington. So this would be a beautiful fit, and it feels like a bill to me.
Stores, what if I told you that Braylon Trice led the country in pressures last season?
Damn, I did not even know that stat.
Like, why is no one talking about this guy?
That's more important. I value pressures over sacks. Sacks are kind of an inflated stat that don't matter as much as pressures. I mean, when you have pressures, you're getting home. Sacks are fantastic, but when you're the most disruptive player, getting after the quarterback and causing pressures almost, yeah, better than anyone in the entire country. That's an incredible stat right there. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's like mind-boggling. Him and Chop Robinson, both you see these great grades. They were productive. He had the most pressures in college football, and he's still just falling. He's being really slept on. So I like that. He feels like a Bill. He's really good in the run defense as well. So I really like that. Getting that Von Miller replacement. You can put him opposite of Greg Rousseau. I love it. Moving on, I think defensive interior is still in need. We could, look at double dipping a receiver, maybe corner.
Also, linebacker, I wouldn't hate to add to that crew. Matt Milano was truly their only linebacker, it felt like. And when he went down, that entire linebacker crew just struggled. Um, I wouldn't mind.
I love Kalen Carson. I did not think he'd be on the board, but he could be a
Oh,
really nice starter.
yeah, we lose Tre'Davious White. We ultimately move off of him. He's a cap casualty. You got Rasul Douglas who comes in, but you could really use an upgrade over your corner too. Um, yeah, Kalen Carson, I actually really like that fit. Three, just a really solid player from Wake Forest. But yeah, I mean, you add him with Rasul Douglas, Kyrie Elam. I know you re-signed can't remember his name. The guy from Weber State, Taron Johnson.
Johnson.
But yeah, Kalen Carson's a guy that ultimately has CB1 upside. So I actually really like that fit too.
Yeah, I feel like you could honestly start him day one. He's a really good run defender. He's honestly, I watched him today. I watched his film today, and he is really good in coverage. I think he could be a starter on the outside day one. I don't even mind Benford, but I think he could be better than Benford. So I think that's a really fun pick. Definitely a big drop off after Carson as well, in my opinion, with the rest of the corners available. So really like that pick. We have a pick just a few picks later. Leonard Taylor just feels like a Bill. McKinley
I was
Jackson
gonna
does as
say
well.
that he's like a linebacker playing defensive interior. He's kind of built and has like the size of a linebacker. Um, if you would have gone off of his tape 2 years ago, he would have been a no-brainer first round pick. But he just really struggled this year, and he really tested poorly at the combine and his pro day. So he's just been, ultimately falling down draft boards, but a guy with a lot of upside who was, considered a year ago a first round lock. So
We
that
could
would
go
be,
to linebacker too if you wanted to go back, but either one I like.
I really do. I'm kind of between Leonard Taylor and Michael Barrett here. I think Michael Barrett would be a great team leader to add to the middle of that defense. And I also wouldn't mind double dipping at wide receiver. Maybe we wait another round. I don't know. I'm between Michael Barrett and Leonard Taylor here. Maybe Michael Barrett's a little bit better fit.
Let's go
Uh,
Leonard Taylor because I feel like we could probably get Barrett at 144 in 10 picks.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Go Leonard Taylor and let's go Barrett next.
Okay, let's hope he's there. I really
Oof.
like Leonard Taylor though. He could honestly start over Taquan Jones or just rotate in and be really nice.
Oh, for sure.
Ooh,
There we
beautiful.
go. You love to see it. Yeah,
Always
and
gets his guy.
immediately, yeah, team captain. You kind of value him more as a pass rusher than a coverage linebacker. So an early down linebacker, but can absolutely come up there and lay the boom. Played in a very very productive Michigan defense. I love the fit here.
Yeah, absolutely love it. You could definitely compete to start day one with Spectre. So I like the fit. Uh, Definitely really fun. And then moving on, we could definitely consider double dipping at receiver. Zach Zinter could be really nice, just a Bills player to, be this all pro starter for them next year after getting healthy.
Yeah, that's
Tackle. They did address tackle today with La'el Collins. That's a nice signing, by the way. I didn't mention. I love it.
Yeah, La'el Collins coming in. You got Spencer Brown, La'el Collins gonna fight for that right tackle spot. You got Deion Dawkins on the left side. You can definitely, you could draft Osiris Torrance. You could definitely upgrade over David Edwards here, and Zach Zinter may just be the perfect fit. Um, what are our wide receivers looking like here?
Luke McCaffrey's there. That could be fun.
That would be another
I
good
don't
pick.
know though, because the Bills have so many intermediate guys. I don't even know if that's really.
Anthony Gold would probably be a little bit better. He's more of that true outside speed threat. Um, Yeah, I think Zach Zinter's got to be the pick here. That is incredible value. A guy that could ultimately develop into, Pro Bowl, All Pro caliber guy. If it wasn't for his leg injury, we'd be talking about him in the first 2 days.
Yeah, and the Bills aren't bad on the interior, so you can afford to let him get fully healthy, not rush it at all, and he could really be a great starter for you down the line. So I love that. Feels like a Bill pick. They can plug him right in. Going on to the next pick, I think safety is definitely something we could consider after losing Jordan Poyer. They're probably going to lose Micah Hyde to the Packers as well, it's sounding like. So safety could be in play. I like Omar Brown. Trey Taylor's pretty nice.
Hmm. What are we looking at wide receiver again if we wanted to double dip there? Joshua Cephas could be interesting. Um,
Does kind of feel like a Bill.
yeah, I mean, for the sake of double dipping in a guy that could probably be an okay special teamer as well, from day one, that might be worth a dart throw.
Yeah, let's go Joshua Cephas. Is just a solid receiver. He can be that wide receiver four for you. And then we'll look at safety with our next pick, just a few picks later. I really like Omar Brown and Trey Taylor. I'll let you decide between the two. I might be a little bit more ready to start Omar Brown right now. So do you want to go with him or do you want to go with the upside and Trey Taylor, who's rangy?
Not gonna lie, I haven't watched either of these two, so I'm gonna trust your judgment on it. I'm gonna let you make the call.
I'm just gonna go Omar Brown. He feels more like the Bill guy. You can start him honestly day one to replace both safeties that you lost. So I like that.
Would we
Moving on to
like
round
to
seven.
upgrade RB2 over Ty Johnson?
I do like running back here. Yes, I do like
Yeah.
that. Don't like the running backs on the board. Carson still kind of feels.
Blake Watson wouldn't be bad. Watch the little Blake Watson type. I feel like there's a little bit of burst and potential there. Would not look at his elusive rating. Wow, that's actually elite level.
Got
Um,
nice, consistent grades 3 years in a row. Let's go, Blake Watson. Looks like a nice, consistent back to back up James Cook. He's got that 195 stock year build. I like it.
yeah. I really like that. And I feel like Memphis is just kind of a slept on school for producing running backs. So, you
Kind of
know,
random, but true.
yeah. Just trust the process here. Trust the process here. You love to see it. I'll read them off to you what we got here. So we've got the Bills obviously going first in this situation, trading up with the Seahawks and getting their wide receiver one of the future in Brian Thomas Jr. Going into round two, pick 60, Braylon Trice, an absolute steal. I have no idea what the grade is, a C minus on that one. That feels like incredible value. The guy led the country in pressures. And then going over to round four, don't have a third round pick this year, and getting Kalen Carson, hopefully our corner one of the future, has a lot of upside out of Wake Forest. Leonard Taylor in round four, pick 133. A guy who's got an interesting build for an interior defensive lineman, but definitely has a lot of potential. And round five, pick 144, Michael Barrett, team captain, linebacker, hard hitting, just a nose for the football out of Michigan. And then going back to Michigan around five, pick 163 and Zach Zinter, an interior offensive lineman with the upside to be an all pro. I'll say that right here. Zach Zinter has some of the cleanest tape when he's on the field and healthy. And then going into round six, pick 200, Joshua Cephas, a wide receiver out of UTSA, a speedier guy, probably contributes right away on special teams. Round six, 204, Omar Brown, safety from Nebraska. Round seven, 248, Blake Watson, running back from Memphis. Excuse me, I'm out of breath.
Very effective draft by the Bills, replacing Stefon Diggs, who you trade away today. I absolutely love it. I think they definitely were effective with all their picks. Let's move on to the Patriots, who pick at 3. This should be a really fun discussion discussing what they should do at 3. I guess let's just start this thing and see who falls to us at 3. Jaden Daniels is off the board, and that's kind of the consensus right now. So are you pulling the trigger on Drake May? Are you listening to any trade offers? What are you thinking here?
If Drake May sitting on the board there at 3, that's kind of a no-brainer. I think that's best case scenario for the Patriots. I think the Patriots kind of similar to the 2020 draft, where there was, 3 quarterbacks that were going in the top 6. You had Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Tua. Joe Burrow was obviously the consensus one, and the Chargers sat at pick 6, and they were comfortable taking Tua Tagovailoa or Justin Herbert, whoever fell to them. And I feel like that's kind of what the Patriots are sitting here. I don't feel like they're panicking, you know. And worst case scenario, if you don't love these guys, I don't hate going Marvin Harrison Jr., but you need a franchise quarterback. I really don't think you can afford to trade out of this. I know people are saying you need weapons to have a quarterback, but you need a quarterback. You need a quarterback first. You need a face of your franchise. You need the most important position, and you're not guaranteed to pick in the top 3 anytime soon. So you take one of these blue chip quarterbacks, and you forget about it.
The Patriots may have some holes for any of you saying that. Just wait till we kick up this mock draft. We're gonna plug in those holes. So you just wait after this mock. We're gonna build around Drake May. It's gonna be beautiful. So I love getting Drake May in there. It's a steal, first of all. If the Commanders fumble him at 2, I would lose all respect in Cliff Kingsbury. I'll just say that. I think Drake May is really multiple tiers above Jaden Daniels as a prospect. It's honestly comical when you watch them next to each other. It's just they aren't even close. So the fact that they're possibly that Drake May could possibly go behind him, it's silly. I think the Patriots need to just completely take advantage of that, and I love that happening here. So we'll build around him. We'll try to get that dynasty going with that generational quarterback. He's a beautiful prospect. The only knock on him is his footwork. He has some silly footwork, and it leads to some very bad inaccuracy issues. But that's it. That's it. He's a perfect prospect outside of that. So love you getting a Drake May, that eventual Tom Brady replacement. What are you thinking in round 2? I think receiver, corner could be nice. I think receiver could be really nice though.
We're going receiver here. We're gonna start helping our boy Drake May. And there's some good options on the board, man. You got Lad McConkey, Troy Franklin, Roman Wilson, Ricky Pearsall, Keon Coleman, Jalen Polk. It's kind of pick your flavor of wide receiver here. I think you got one building block receiver in Demario Douglas. Juju Smith-Schuster, don't really care much for him. Kendrick Bourne can be a good, wide receiver four, but we do need, our guy with maybe the most alpha wide receiver one upside. And who are you thinking has that, Dan?
To answer your question of who has the most alpha wide receiver one upside, that is easily without question Keon Coleman. To answer your question of like who has the most just number two like outside receiver like the Mike Williams type, that's Jalen Polk. And then if you want just the Puka, the intermediate, the get open and the intermediate game, that's Lad McConkey, who also he's a lacrosse player. He's from that area. He just feels like a Patriot receiver. So all three of them make sense. Troy Franklin is there. That could be realistic. He could
Yeah.
fall.
I
It's
just
hard.
I may really, really, really like Jalen Polk. Um, a guy who had to compete reps with, Romo Dunze and Jalen McMillan in a stacked Washington offense. I feel like, and what was his stats? I swear he still had like 1,100 yards and 10 plus touchdowns this year, if I'm remembering correct. So yeah, 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns. I feel like he has maybe the most clean tape. Um, Steve Smith, man, he said on a podcast that Jalen Polk is going to be one of his top three wide receivers. And I don't know, Steve Smith, former wide receiver, he had a hot take about Cooper Cup a while back. Um, I don't know. You can talk me out of this one. I think I really do like Jalen Polk.
No, I like it a lot. I wouldn't complain at the pick at all. I guess my only qualm is that this is the second pick in the second round, so it's essentially a first round pick. And I maybe Keon Coleman has more of that number one potential when you really just don't have a number one in the room. Like that's my only thing on Jalen Poole, because if they had a set number one, I would absolutely love it. I just don't know if Jalen Poole can become that like number one in an offense. Keon Coleman might reach that easier, but I don't know. It's tough.
Keon Coleman is a big body, and watching him run that gauntlet drill was almost just it was the most beautiful gauntlet drill I've ever seen. 20 miles per hour in the straightest line of the combine. He has the production there. He can be a red zone scorer. Yeah, I'm okay with either one. You want to go Keon Coleman? I feel like this is a good range for him. And you
I
give
could
Drake
kind of
May a
see it.
big target. Yeah, I really like that.
It's a good shake of the hands between us two because I originally had Lad McConkey in my mock draft. You had Jalen Polk. So we'll meet in the middle here and we'll get our wide receiver one and Keon Coleman. I really like him. Like you said, you watch him win that gauntlet and it kind of just turns you on to him. It makes you intrigued. By the way, Roger Rosengarten went at pick 32, if you were wondering. So this draft is all over the place.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, starting off Drake May, Keon Coleman, Demario Douglas, you're looking okay. We want to keep attacking that offense. We want to keep upgrading that offense. We can also obviously go defense, but I think me and you are both looking offensive tackle here. Maybe an upgrade over Connor McDermott. Gosh, what are you thinking? Blake Fisher is very tempting here, man. He's a pretty good offensive tackle. I think he can plug and play immediately at right tackle. Um, yeah, I don't
I
know.
I love that. I think Blake Fisher feels like a Patriot. You could plug him at right tackle, move and Wayne to left tackle, and get Connor McDermott out of your starting lineup. I think that would be really nice. So I feel like Blake Fisher feels like a Patriot. He's a really just solid all around player. Can run block, pass block, just solid. Can be a solid right tackle for you for a while. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, you move him immediately, plug and play, right tackle. He's ready to start. He is a starter in the NFL right now. I promise you that. He's got really clean tape. He comes from a program that just breeds offensive tackles. And yeah, if you move Mike and Wayne to left tackle and you got two bookend tackles right there, you're feeling good about.
Absolutely. Love that pick. Moving on to the next pick in round four. I kind of want to go edge just because outside of Matt Judon, who's getting up there in age, it's just Anthony Jennings and Josh Uche. Might want to go someone, that has some upside. Like Javon Solomon kind of feels like a Patriot player. They always go for those diamonds in the rough who crazy 90.9 pass rush grade. Could be a really nice pass rush specialist for them. You thinking any other positions or?
Corner, I mean, JC Jackson, they took a dart throw on that. That didn't work out. I mean, you did draft Christian Gonzalez in the first round last year. So I would not hate a Renardo Green here, a Cam Hart. He could be an immediate, outside corner day one. Um, yeah, I don't
I
know.
like their starting corners right now are Jonathan Jones, Christian Gonzalez, and Marcus Jones. I don't mind that, but I also really like the corners on the board, so I wouldn't be mad at taking.
Who's on the board again? All at edge. Because yeah, I mean that's probably our next. We're attacking defense. Nelson Caesar is a fun prospect. I don't know if you got into his tape yet out of Houston, but he's a pretty good prospect. Um,
I'll let
uh,
you choose between him or Solomon, whoever feels like the more Patriot guy. Let's see their sizes because they like those big. Solomon 6'2", 245. Caesar 6'3", 250. You want to go Caesar?
let's go Caesar here, baby. And yeah, he is kind of another diamond in the rough, an edge out of Houston. Either one of those feels like that, but let's go Nelson Caesar here.
Let's go Caesar. Let's get that edge rusher to rotate in. And Elijah Jones is here. You want to just keep him in Boston? You want to keep him home and go Elijah Jones? That could be nice.
Oh, that could be pretty. Just for the fun of it, because the receivers on PFF's board drop off early. Who do we got here?
Could go McCaffrey, Taj Washington.
Oh, Marcus Rosemary, Jack Saint, Roseme, Jack Saint. He's like one of the only people that caught a touchdown at the Senior Bowl, if you're wondering. um, I would not mind Luke McCaffrey right here, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's a little early. Um,
Luke
Cornelius
McCaffrey or Elijah Jones. You do have Pop Douglas and Kendrick Bourne.
When's our next pick? 180. What does the fall off look like on 180 on the wide receiver board?
I'm sure it won't be great. But McCaffrey is one. Oh, I guess his ADP is 171.
Oh, yeah, maybe we lock in Luke McCaffrey. I feel like that's, you got Keon Coleman, Luke McCaffrey, and Demario Douglas. I like that 1, 2, 3. And then with Kendrick Bourne and Juju as your 4 and 5, I do not mind that.
Don't disrespect Kendrick Bourne. Luke
No,
McCaffrey would
no,
not
Kendrick
start
Bourne's
over Kendrick
solid.
Bourne.
Kendrick
Who?
Bourne is solid. He's been solid. He's just been in a struggling offense. So yeah,
No, no. But they just paid him. There's no way Luke McCaffrey would walk in and start over Kendrick Bourne, though. There's zero chance. Zero chance. But we can go Luke McCaffrey. I'm just saying he would not start over. He'd probably start over Pop Douglas, I guess. Maybe. 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 You want to go Luke?
I mean, Taj Washington is who's their kick returner? Because I mean, Taj Washington has kick return. I guess so does McCaffrey.
Pop Douglas is their kick returner. And Rager.
Oh, they got Jalen Rager. Oh yeah, they do, and Tyquan Thornton,
Yeah.
the speedster. I mean, Elijah Jones is the better value here if you want to go that.
It's good value. You could argue he wouldn't start day one as well, but he could definitely. I guess why not, dude? Keep him in state. You
It's
already
a
have
good.
Jonathan Jones and Marcus Jones. Just keep the Jones. Let's just go Elijah Jones. Why not?
We got 3 Joneses at
Yeah.
corner. That's
Let's just
elite.
keep it going.
That's elite level stuff right there. All right, lock it in. Lock it in.
All right, keeping up with the Joneses. We lost Jack Jones. We gotta get another one in here. So we'll bring in Elijah Jones and we'll look at the receivers, see if there's any good ones still. There you
Oh,
go.
there you go. He falls. He falls. He can be an eventual. This is. I think he can contribute immediately on kick return, punt specialist, and then fight for a starting role eventually at wide receiver. But yeah, I love the fit. I love the fit.
Yeah, that's definitely a good spot for him. And yeah, it feels like a Patriot receiver. He definitely would, have a good role. He'd use him in a lot of nice ways. So I really like that. Moving on to the next pick, we could maybe look for like another linebacker safety hybrid because they love those. Like Still Chambers is exactly what I was thinking. That really nice coverage backer that can kind of be that sub backer for you. Anything else you're thinking?
I think we're pretty good at running back. And they did bring in Gibson. So you got Ramondre and Gibson. I do like that one too. You could also look to upgrade over Austin Hooper. I mean, you did just resign Hunter Henry, but I mean, there's probably no one better than Austin Hooper immediately day one. No, I like going linebacker here. We've hit offense pretty hard. Maybe let's focus a little bit more. Curtis Jacobs, another really nice guy in coverage if that's what we're looking for. Jalen Ford could be nice here. I've not watched Steel Chambers at all.
He's like a really he's literally a safety. He's a converted safety. So he would be that Patriot, like that Kyle Duggar build. If you wanted to go still Chambers, you can play linebacker or safety for you.
Beautiful. Lock it in.
All right, yeah, I really like him. He's literally I think he played safety last year. So yeah, you can see
Adrian
his
Phillips. It's just the Patriot way.
yeah, you see those splits on the bottom left. He literally plays all over the place. So I really like this one. We'll go still Chambers. Feels like that Patriot player. Is that going to be it? Okay, we have one more pick. Dylan McMahon feels like a Patriot. What are you thinking?
Did we already get a center? I don't think we did.
No, they have Cole Strange, David Andrews, City Sal, Dave, Jake Andrews. They have a few interiors, but we definitely could go attack it.
Yeah, I
Dylan
like
McMahon's
Dylan
pretty
McMahon.
nice. He had a nice
Yeah.
RES score.
Yeah, let's lock in Dylan McMahon. That's tremendous value if he's actually here in the seventh round. I know a lot of scouts really, really like Dylan McMahon. Yeah, lock that in. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, had a really nice RAS score, good offseason process, and yeah, really solid draft for the Patriots. You were happy as hell being able to get Drake May at 3. That really sets a tone and a precedent for your future of your franchise. You get Drake May at 3, you pair him up with Keon Coleman out of Florida State at 34. Second pick in round 2, you get Blake Fisher to compete at right tackle. And round 3, you get Nelson Caesar, a nice pass rusher. In round 4, you get Elijah Jones, keep him in state. In Boston, round 5, get all the Joneses in that secondary. You get Luke McCaffrey, Christian's brother, in round 6, really good gadget player. You get Steel Chambers, a converted safety. The linebacker in round 6, and then you get Dylan McMahon, the really athletic center. In round 7, feels like a Patriot. I love that haul.
Yeah, this feels like a Patriots draft. I think I think we've unlocked the Patriots drafts. It's a lock. Love that one.
I think we did a pretty dang good job on that one. So that let's go on to the Jets. Going to be really fun to see who they ultimately go. I think it's between offensive line or this guy right here, Brock Bowers, is on the board, and it's a hard discussion. I'll let you talk about it, but I have a pretty strong stance on this. I'll let you talk about it first. I'll let you say what you think they should do.
You know what? I will say they should go Brock Bowers. I know you have two 30-year-old guys on as your tackles, with Morgan Moses and Tyrone Smith. I mean, you do have a pretty solid starting five if they can stay on the field and if they can, stay healthy. But Aaron Rodgers calling the shots here, a shiny toy like Brock Bowers, the best tight end prospect we've ever seen falling to number 10 is just incredible value. That's kind of the way I'm looking. And I might want to go, tackle in the second round, a guy that it can step in and plug and play if one of your two, 30 plus year old tackles get hurt. But I'm just really locking into Brock Bowers with this pick.
Yeah, so I have a Jets buddy that I was kind of going back and forth with this first round pick on, and it really is between offensive line and tight end for all of Jets Nation. And looking at their offensive line, you just left to right, you've got um let me pull it up real quick. Don't have it pulled up.
All I can say it. Got Tyrone Smith at left tackle, John Simpson at left guard, Joe Tittman at center, right guard Elijah Vera Tucker, right tackle Morgan Moses.
And it's not just that. So that's the thing is like a lot of people want to plug in Troy Fatanu here because he can move around anywhere. He can eventually fill in for those really old 33, 34-year-old tackles. But my thing is your two development backup tackles right now are Carter Warren and Max Mitchell. I would say that's better than 100% of teams' development backup tackles. I would say not one team in the NFL has better young backup tackles. Like I genuinely am positive in that stance. So I don't really think that you need to go Fatanu or Fashanu and get a developmental tackle that might not even start day one. You could go Fatanu, you might start over John Simpson, but you really got like one of the more stacked offensive lines in the NFL, and it's just being underrated because that New York media loves to talk about how bad it was last year, but it's a pretty dang good offensive line, and they did a great job attacking it this offseason. So I am going to lock in Brock Bowers. I think it's the Aaron Rodgers pick. You really need receiver help as well. I guess another thing, adding on to my point, you've got Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson. Your third receiver is Xavier Gibson. So like, and your tight end's Tyler Conklin. I think those are the only two holes in your entire team. So
Hey,
I
hey,
really
hey,
think you
hey, hey,
attack.
hey, hey. Alan Lazard is going to play good with Rodgers.
He's getting cut probably, unless Rodgers saves him another season and carries him on his back. But I feel like he could get cut.
Outside of like, their Jets are a pretty damn good team, man. Looking at their
Oh, this is
roster.
the best team in the NFL. This is
Yeah.
by far the best constructed team in the NFL. I wouldn't say it's close, honestly, right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty pathetic of how they have a top 10 pick. Even any kind of competent quarterback should have had them in the playoffs. So, just wild is, great signing, getting Tyrod Taylor. If something happens to Aaron Rodgers, that was essential that you did not have last year. But yeah, it's a pretty incredible roster. Just going through the depth chart and looking at it right now.
Yeah, I guess the moral of the story to my rant is the two biggest needs for the Jets are wide receiver and tight end. I would say that might be the only two needs on the entire team. So we're gonna go Brock Bowers, and in round two, or sorry, we don't have a round two pick, sadly, but in round three, I'm heavily gonna consider receiver because wow, Jalen McMillan is on the board, and I
Ooh.
need that. I need Jalen McMillan to be
Lock
Aaron
it
Rodgers'
in.
Puka Nakua. Please.
Oh, lock that in. That is so nice. Oh, God.
I would say if there's any player in the class that can be Puka Nakua, it's this guy. He's one of the smarter receivers in the NFL or in the draft, just at getting open and finding the open space. He's really productive. I feel like he has those Puka vibes when you watch him.
Perfect slot player. And if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, he probably would be, borderline first round. That's tremendous value. I love that right there.
And like I said, Jets fans, we have Max Mitchell, we have Carter Warren. I'm not tripping about drafting these developmental tackles. I'm really not. If they fail, we'll draft one in the first round next year because we don't have any needs. So I really love getting Jalen McMillan. If he's not there, I'd probably go Malachi Corley. Just getting that really good slot receiver to upgrade on Xavier Gibson is pretty essential. So I really love that. Jalen Polk and Jalen McMillan go 2 picks in a row. And with that, we'll go round four. I'm kind of thinking the
Safety, maybe?
the last need on their team is safety. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We could definitely upgrade at safety. Who do we got? Oh my
Goal.
God. My God. You got two really Tyke Smith, Cole Bishop still on the board here. Oh,
Tyke's
oh,
a slot corner though, so definitely Cole
yeah.
Bishop. This feels like a Jet.
Yeah, lock in Cole Bishop. That's oof. That's beautiful. He can be I mean, he can play. I think honestly, he has the flexibility to play either. I feel like they like to play him in the box more, and I feel like he can really thrive at that role, but I feel like he could honestly have the versatility of playing free safety here too. I think he could, push Chuck Clark out of that starting role immediately and become their safety one. Love Cole Bishop, love his tape, love just an incredible player. If no one's watched Cole Bishop, go watch his tape. He's just a really, really fun prospect out of Utah.
Yeah, one of the more fun watches, honestly. And in this draft, he's just a menace at the line of scrimmage. He's like Jamal Adams. That's actually a good athlete, and he has that bad coverage grade, but he just wasn't asked to cover. He's a really good athlete, and I think when he's asked to cover in the NFL, I think he's going to just be a really solid starting safety. I really am confident he would start for the Jets day one, move either Chuck Clark or Tony Adams back to that safety three, and he'd be really solid for them. So I genuinely think this is the last need for starters for the Jets, and now you're just drafting with house
Yeah,
money.
we're drafting for fun at this point, and oh,
We can
man.
consider linemen now, Jets fans.
Hey, running back would be kind of interesting. I mean, you got Israel Abadakanda as your RB2, which I don't hate, but a pass catching receiver to complement Brees Hall would kind of be fun, depending on who's on the board here. Ah, it's a bug just attacking me.
Store's getting attacked over here. I do really like Will Shipley. Feels like he could be a nice receiving back to complement.
Oh yeah, Will Shipley would be actually really fun. I mean, now you're just picking for fun
Will
here.
Shipley's kind of a freak. He's electric, man. He's a crazy acceleration. I like him.
And I feel like that would be a perfect complementary piece to Brees Hall. You know, a good third down, change of pace running back. This would be a great system for him. What do you think?
No, I really like this. He has that 51.5 elusive rating, but when I watch him, it doesn't really show on tape. He has like really nice short area burst. He can zoom and he can I think it would be a perfect complement to Brees Hall, like you said. It feels like a jet pick. Let's keep him in that northeast area. I really like that.
Like I
Moving on to the
said,
next pick.
we're drafting for fun for these last three right here. So,
Yep. We could go offensive line now, though. So these Jets
oh
fans
yeah,
are too pissed at us. We'll go best offensive lineman here.
who do we got on the interior
Let's
too?
go interior.
I mean, Hunter Norris out of being insane. I don't think he'll be here in the sixth. I think that's way too low for him.
Yeah, let's go Bortolini. I think he could be here, and he's really versatile because you just need that swing interior guy at this point. And he could play any three position. Do you want to just go him?
Yeah, I mean, this guy's an athletic freak. You line him up any of the three spots, and that's tremendous value right there.
Yep, that's a Jet thing to do. Just
So
draft.
just a freak athlete, on the line.
Joe Tipman went to Wisconsin, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Look at that. Look at that. We're drafting his literal eventual replacement, and he's gonna maybe eventually replace Tipman. So I like that. You get him some competition in there, some good insurance on the interior. Really love that.
Linebacker here, maybe?
I was gonna say linebacker as well.
Yes, who do we got on the board?
Not the greatest.
Not the greatest. Is Eric Gentry actually in the draft? I think that 6 foot like 7 linebacker from USC. Um, 6 foot
Jeez.
6, 215.
So he's just an edge rusher? What the hell?
No, he's a linebacker. He's kind of good in coverage. He's 6'6". He's 215. He's very skinny. He looks like a stick out there. He could kind of be interesting.
Would, but I
Just
do
be
really
kind of
like Dallas Gant.
yeah, Dallas Gant would be fun. I'll let you pick. I mean, Eric Gentry's just kind of a funny pick. He could. I don't know if somebody has the mind to turn him into something, but put a little bit more meat on his bones. But he's 215 and 6'6".
Jeff Ulbrich is a creative linebacker coach, but I don't know. I feel like
All
just
right,
Dallas
there's a
Gant.
freaking
His stores are
fly.
getting attacked by
There's
bugs.
a big fly. There's
What
a
are you
big fly.
camping or something?
No, I left the door open all day for my dog to go in and out, and now we have bugs. So gotta
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it.
All right, what linebacker are we going for the Jets here? I don't know.
All right, go Dallas Gant. I don't know if anyone's gonna really love Eric Gentry. Kind of a unique prospect.
All right, and then let's go tackle here. Let's not get killed. Oh, Delmar Glaze, keep him in the Northeast area. I really love Delmar Glaze, one of my favorite late round tackle prospects. A really good pass blocker in the Big Ten, and probably shouldn't be here in the round 7. So I think that's a good dart throw.
Lock it in. Lock it in.
This is an electric draft from the Jets. Will be different than you see, but I just see the Jets needs differently. Really, I feel like their offensive line needs are just overstated from the fans.
Yeah, I mean, going round one, tight end Brock Bowers at pick 10 is tremendous value. Incredible football player, the best tight end prospect we've ever seen coming out of college. And then moving into round three, pick 72, and you're just having fun. You're just having fun with Aaron Rodgers. Your roster's already built out, it's already set. Jalen McMillan to complement Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson. And Jalen McMillan will slide day one into the slot, one of the smarter receivers. Cole Bishop, ultra smart safety in this class, can kind of play anywhere, play the box, play deep. Round four, pick 134, Will Shipley, running back Clemson, to be that kind of electric spark plug to Brees Hall. And then getting the most athletic center slash guard in this draft, and Tanner Bortolini. The guy can absolutely run. And then round seven, Dallas Gant from Toledo. Around another round pick, the next pick in round seven, Delmar Glaze from Maryland, tackle.
Beautiful, beautiful draft from the Jets. Like that is absurd. You have absolutely zero needs. We just drafted a lot of good depth players for you. That's just beautiful. Let's go into the last AFC East team we'll be drafting for the Miami Dolphins. Should be pretty interesting discussion, but I think I know what I want to do in round one, and that's just go offensive line. Are there any other needs that stick out to you? Defensive interior, maybe after losing Wilkins?
I think immediately we got to address the line. I think that's our biggest need. You got to keep Tua not getting concussed here. I mean, and yeah, also you lost Christian Wilkins, but oh yeah, I think we got to do it. Center
Super.
guard flexibility immediately adds a big boost to your pass game, to your run blocking game. Yeah, Jackson Powers Johnson, you love to see it if he's here, and this is kind of the range where people now are expecting him to go. So it feels like a good value, and a tremendous football player.
Yeah, if the Dolphins pull this off, absolutely beautiful. They did sign Aaron Brewer, but start JPJ at guard. Have him compete with Robert Jones or move Brewer to guard. This is just a good luxury. Something that's really needed. The Dolphins don't have too much needs, but that interior is definitely one of them. So you get a really good starter, the top interior offensive lineman off the board for both of us. Do want to get that Christian Wilkins replacement there. I see a really good defensive interior off the board at the top. You
Oh,
want to keep him in state?
Braden Fisk, lock it in. I like, and I, dude, I'll just say, I mean, I'm not calling him Aaron Donald, but the guy moves like Aaron Donald. He is incredible. He tested off the charts at the combine. I mean, he has checked every single box you could possibly check. Absolutely tore up the Senior Bowl. He was asked to switch teams the day before, and just goes out there and he's the most dominant football player on the field. Braden Fisk here, lock it in. Love the pick, love the fit.
Feels too easy getting that Christian Wilkins replacement. You could easily start him day one. I could see Fisk going in round one. Even he's a crazy fluid mover for being that big build defensive interior. So really like him. Would be a great pass rusher for you. You could rotate him around with the Deshaun Hand, Benito Jones, Neville Gallimore, Jonathan Harris. It's a really good rotation, but I think he'd be the best one day one. So great pick for the Dolphins. Great start to the draft too, really good interior pieces on the offensive and defensive line. Moving on to the next pick, all the way down in round 5. I would say the last need on this entire team is that receiver 3. I do not want Braxton Berrios starting. Um, any of these guys stand out to you?
How about
Ooh.
Marcus Rosemary Jackson, the only guy to catch a touchdown at the Senior Bowl? He's from Georgia. He's a bigger, more physical player, and I think he'd give you an immediate upgrade over Braxton Berrios.
I
I
hate
mean,
you.
or Anthony Gold. Sorry, he'd be fun too.
I hate you for picking Luke McCaffrey to the Patriots because I was just planning on him being McDaniel's toy, and that is just so beautiful. So if we wouldn't have taken him for the Patriots, I would have pulled the
Yeah,
trigger
that would
because
have been a
that's
good
beautiful.
fit here.
But yeah, let's get that more bigger build. 6'2", 195 guy, that SEC experience on the outside. You can move Tyreek and Waddle wherever the hell you want, motion them, and just get this guy on the outside and make Barrios and River Craycraft as the backup wide receiver 4 or 5 types where they belong. So I really like this pick, and I feel like it's a must.
And then, honestly, for this next pick, I kind of am thinking either tight end or running back. I mean, Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane were really good 1-2 punch, but Raheem Mostert is 31 years old, and the shelf life for running back is 30. So I mean, he's outlasting his time. But what do you think? What do you think?
We could see what running backs are
Oh,
there. I feel
Jaheim
like
Bell would be. Oh, I guess he's too similar to Johnny Smith. He's literally Johnny Smith 2.0. We'd
yeah,
probably
I
go.
just don't know because last year they literally used Durham Smythe as their starting tight end the whole season, and they didn't even care. And they brought in Johnny Smith, still have Smythe, so I just don't even know if they would really. And
What
they
about a
brought in
good
Jody
blocking
Fortson.
tight end though? AJ Barner on the board. He would
That's
be
what
a
Durham Smythe is, though.
uh, and none of these guys. I mean, besides, we could wait.
Yeah,
We
for
could wait.
Brevin.
Yeah.
I could see corner, but I mean, you brought in Kendall Fuller, Cater Kohu isn't the best slot corner. You could maybe go slot.
Edge, because we got a bunch of hurt guys. Who do
Oh,
we
I
have?
do like Edge. I do like Edge. You do
Yeah,
bring in Shaq Barrett, but you could. Oh, James Green is literally like kind of a Shaq Barrett, a pass rush specialist. If you want to go for a pass rush specialist,
lock it in. I love that. Yeah, we need somebody while our players are recovering. So I don't know if Jalen Phillips or Bradley Chubb are going to be ready week 1.
yeah, our starting edge week one might be Shaq Barrett and Jalen Green, right out of James Madison. So I love it. Let's set it up. The two really relentless pass rushers, pass rush specialists for you. So I like that pick. We could definitely look for running back here. We could go edge corner.
Dewan Briggs, the best guy, or is sorry, the number one person on the board. he benched the most reps at the combine, so I don't know, and I think he sings opera or something weird like that.
Really? I did
Most
not
bench
know
press
that.
and opera, yeah, I heard that in a podcast today, so I was like, "Oh, that's interesting."
6'2", 297, singing opera.
Yeah. Or, yeah, running back. Ooh,
Could
from
go tackle, corner.
Chase McClellan, would be a good fit. He really would be.
That
He's
would
a
be.
bigger power back. He can get into the end zone. Comes from Alabama. Oh, that might be a good, life after Raheem Mostert, and have Devon A. Chain eventually, and Chase McClellan would be very nice.
Yeah, could be a good complement to Devon Achan and replacing Mostert eventually.
Am
I
I
like
saying
that.
A. Chain? Sorry.
Yeah, same thing.
A. Chain, sorry.
Same thing. Do you want to lock in running back? There's a few ways you could go, but I don't mind running back here.
Yeah, let's
Running back
go. Let's go.
corner.
Let's go, Chase. Let's go, Chase. He'd be. I think if you're preparing for next year, he's a fantastic player.
All right, get Tua and Waddle. They're Alabama Roll Tide teammate, and move on to our last pick in round 7. I do want to see if there's one. I was thinking of Donovan Jennings, the tackle out of USF, keeping home in Florida, but he is not on the board. We could go secondary. We haven't attacked that yet. Best safety or corner available, maybe.
Penny Logan. Oh, what is his name? What is the nickname for Richardson? The one guy in the draft with the picture. Uh,
Damani.
yeah, yeah. Well, they had a nickname. What do they call him? It was like Jackrabbit or something. I
Oh
don't know.
yeah, Jack Rabbit Richardson. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. He'd be an interesting player here. I feel like he'll actually end up going earlier, but if he is here, that would be tremendous value.
Let's go Jackrabbit because he has some slot experience. He can push Cater Kohu. That's actually probably the best pick, honestly, is to get that slot corner dart throw. So I really like that.
Yes, sir. Wow, this is easy, man. This was easy compared to the NFC West. I mean, we had 5, 6 picks just in rounds 5 through 7, and these guys only have 5 picks in the entire draft.
I don't know why this whole AFC East episode felt easy, but all these fits were just seamless. These drafts were just perfect. We filled all your guys' rosters out. The Dolphins, you get Jackson Powers Johnson, round 1, the best center in the draft, best interior offensive lineman in the draft. You get Braden Fisk, round 2, crazy fluid mover as a defensive interior lineman. You get Marcus Rosemead Jack Saint in round 5, a receiver, big body receiver to compete for starting on the outside. And then you get Jalen Green, a nice pass rushing specialist in round 6. Jace McClellan, a nice well-rounded back in round 6 to compete in that room. And then you get Jack Rabbit Richardson in round 7 to compete for Cater Kohu in the slot. Feels like a Dolphins draft. All these drafts felt really accurate, felt like there were some good fits, and just felt realistic. How do you feel?
I absolutely love it, man. We're gonna be doing all these, like I keep saying. These just we're the GMs of every single of all 32 teams. Let us know what you think in the comments. This is just it's such a fun exercise, and I hope the fans of these teams are enjoying this.
Yeah, we're knocking them out. It's super fun. It's fun. I feel like a lot of these maybe I'm being cocky, but a lot of these picks might end up happening. I don't know. Maybe a few of them will end up happening. I just feel like a lot of these fits make too much sense, and that's how the NFL draft works. None of these are going to happen probably, but yeah, it just makes too much sense. I really like the fits, and I'm excited to see what happens.
When the draft is over, we're gonna go through every single one of these and
Yeah.
count how many we got right.
100%.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
All right. Well, stay tuned to the NFL Secrets podcast for all offseason draft content. We'll have our defensive line, edge ranking video out tomorrow. So that should be really fun. So stay tuned to the NFL Secrets podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Peace.